Hiya, and welcome to the Two Electric Art. I now have my pouring medium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through from the very start of how I make up some paint. Right, for this example, I'm going to be using one that I'm sure all of you have seen used on many channels. This is Deco Art Extreme Sheen. Oh, I'm knocking my tripod now. It's Deco Art Extreme Sheen, and that is 24k gold. But I'm not actually going to start with that. I'm going to put that aside for just a second because I'm going to take you through how I make up my pouring medium. Now, for this example, I'm not going to be quite doing it in the amount that I would normally. I'm just going to do a smaller amount so that you can see what it is that I do. Right, so very simply, the ratios are 1.5 or 150 mils of glue, 100 mils of Liquitex gloss medium, and 100 mils of Floetrol. Floetrol is just the English version of Floetrol. Right. The main reason I use the glue is price. That is £17 for 5 litres. Both of those are £20 each for 1 litre. So it is significantly more expensive. You can get cheaper pouring mediums, but I've found combining it with the glue creates a happy medium, and I am using more of those two than I was previously. So the ratio, okay, it's 1.5. So if you were doing it in ounces, you do an ounce and a half. Or as I would normally do it, I would be doing 200 ml, 200 ml, 300 ml. I hope that makes sense. For this example, I'm going to be doing 150 mils of the glue, and then 100, and then 100. This is rather heavy, obviously, because it's 5 litres. I have to be a little bit careful with it. And the jug I'm using does have millilitres listed on the side, and on this side has cups and pints. Obviously it has fluid ounces as well, but I don't use fluid ounces, it's just, I'm English. Right. So what we're actually aiming for is this line here. That's 150. View. Stop that there. If I'd thought these three slightly better, I would have done the other two first because it would have been easier to see. But that is unfortunately not what I did, but it doesn't matter. Right, and then so if that's 150, we want 250 of the, up to 250 of the Liquitex. Okay, and then it will take it to 350 when I add the Floetrol. And put a little bit more. Okay, right. Now these don't specifically mesh particularly well, but I found that if I whisk it through, then at least I've got the glue and the Floetrol and the Liquitex medium blended reasonably well before I put them in containers which I've kept. Some of them are from previous pouring mediums that I've tried. To be fair, the Carbosonic was quite a good pouring medium. However, it wasn't. I didn't feel it was having a particularly positive effect with the Liquitex and the Floetrol. The glue actually blends quite well with both. And originally I actually added water to this before putting it in the paint. I have discovered that it's not the best plan. As you learn as an acrylic artist, you will discover things that improve the techniques and things that don't. That is then blended and can be used to make up a paint, which is what we're going to do next. Right, first thing I do with deco art, I don't even try and use the squirt because it just wastes paint. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour about half of what's in here into the pot. And you'll see there's still some paint in there. But what I'm going to do is add some water directly into the pot, which hopefully you can see. And then just give that a shake. Because the only problem with these little deco art pots is you tend to lose a lot of the paint because it doesn't all come out, and you can leave it standing for a while if you have the patience. I'm not the most patient of people. It's just an easy way to get all the paint out. Right. Now we can add the pouring medium, and I tend to use about a 50-50 ratio. That's slightly over, and then I will just mix that in. It does take a while to get it mixed in. Of course, obviously deco paints are absolutely beautiful. If you ever wondered why the paint looks slightly different when it's first mixed to when it's poured later, it's actually just that it settles. Both the glue and the Floetrol reflect how the paint looks before it settles and dries, but it will dry true to the pot colour. And then obviously we've got our absolutely stunningly beautiful 24 karat gold. And you can see that is making a mound on the mound. It's not a big mound on the mound. And there are still some lumps because I need to mix it more. But that is the basics of how I would mix up a colour and how I mix up my pouring medium. As you can see, that's quite gorgeous. I do shake and stir my paints before I use them. So that will now go on my stockpile of paint ready to use. Should I want to thicken the consistency, I can always add more glue, because that will help make it more dense. And if I want to add more water, that will make it more fluid. Now, you've probably seen several pours by several different people at this point. There are specific pours that require specific consistencies. Something like a ring pour would require a significantly thicker consistency of paint. In fact, sometimes the thicker the better with a ring pour. So with the paint at the point it's at now, I could use that for a ring pour, but I would probably add slightly more glue if I was doing a ring pour with that one. Obviously, if you're looking at something like a Dutch pour or a swipe, you need significantly thinner paint. The paintings I'm going to be looking at doing over the next few weeks are going to be using the new tools, which, let me just try and lower you down a little bit so you can see them. Move that out of the way. Right, so this has actually been put up on my Facebook, but I'm actually just going to give you a quick run through. And there is an extra announcement which hasn't gone out on my Facebook or the Instagram, so you are the first people hearing about it. Right, I purchased from Son of Art Design on Etsy. Obviously I'm English, so a lot of the people who you could buy from, I can't. I would love to have things like the Matty Boys Leaky Cup and some of the Mixed Media Girl stuff. Unfortunately, it is ridiculously difficult to get it in this country. International shipping at the moment is a pain in the bum. So I have previously bought split cups from Son of Art Design. All of the split cups you will have seen me use are from him, and I really appreciate what he does. All of it is just 3D printed, but obviously that's not the easiest thing in the world. Right, these two I'm planning to use in conjunction. I don't have canvases big enough to validate using that as an open cup, and the reason I've chosen to use this one with it instead of this one is because this has the base on it, and the thing with the base is that will help cells to form, so you should get more cells if it has to push across a base than one without it. This one I'm actually planning on using in this configuration, so the large one will be on the outside and the smaller one will be on the centre, and I'm going to alternate the colours between the two. So hopefully when I take that one out, you should then get the release of the open cup, which I think is going to be really interesting because I've not actually done that before. So that will now be my standard open cup. I have done open cups before using cut-off cups, but obviously you're talking about a significantly different dimension. So I can use that on some of the smaller canvases. Also, it's going to be very useful on, I've got a series of 8x20 canvases that are long thin ones, and obviously if you're talking about trying to do an open cut with that, it's not going to have, unless I'm doing it tilted, it's not as useful, whereas that, obviously, I can then reposition. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, so I've just realised I moved the camera so you couldn't see it. But yeah, so, right. And we have some other little fun tools. This is actually just a set that he put up. I bought a 2, a 3 and a 5 split cup, but I didn't have a 4, which I was finding really irritating, because there's several times when I came across wanting to use 6 paints or 8 paints or 4 paints and not having the facility to do that. You can do it in a 2-way split cup, but I particularly wanted a 4 for future use. And when I saw that there was in fact a set with 1 4 split cup and these 4 tools, this one is similar to a leaky cup, and obviously the paint comes down the sides. This one is a more static one where the paint cools in the middle and then runs down the runnels on the sides. This one has struts, the same as Matty Boy's leaky cup, but it has a flower. I don't know if that design will actually come out underneath. We will have to see. And this is a flower-shaped open cup, so pretty much the same as that, just a smaller with the flower pattern. So that's theirs. We then got this one, which I was really intrigued by. So this works very similar to these, but it is a 5-pointed one with tubes. And the tubes come down and the paint comes out the edges of the tubes. So on a flat surface you can see, I don't know how well you can see that it's not, it's leaning on the inner edges and there is room on the outer edges for the paint to come out. So it's a more concentrated flow. It also means that I can turn it more, because these have got a lot of runnels, so turning it isn't going to make as much of an impact in the same way. And that one has space in the middle as well, so if I wanted to add a detail in the middle I can. So yeah, these are my new tools, but I have a new baby that I'm very excited about. Okay, these are a new wrecking tool. It also came with, because it will make more sense if I show you the big bit. I've now got a turntable. I'm sure you've seen people use these. You can use them to rotate with one hand as you're pouring with the other. I'm not going to be doing the high-speed spin ones, mainly because this is my kitchen and the paint goes everywhere, and my carers would literally kill me. But this came with this was £13 on Amazon, and I'm sure you've seen the new craze for using icing bags, piping bags they're also called, depending on, people have different terminology. They do actually come with different nozzles, and they come with 3 different spreading tools. I think that's going to be really nice as a wrecker. That is a obviously smooth edge. The thing that I think that's going to be quite useful for is doing flip cuts, because I'll be able to do flip and slide, which I haven't been able to do before because I haven't had a thin enough base for that. We've also got a range of nozzles that come with this. Some of them have got different patterns on. I've not actually tried using or seen anybody using the nozzles with the piping bag. I'm actually intrigued to see how and if that works. It's definitely a very intriguing prospect. Okay, so yeah, that is how I make my pouring medium. Some of my new tools that you will see coming up in the future, and how I make up a pot of paint. So hopefully this has been kind of fun and kind of educational, and I hope you will join me to experience all of these tools, which I shall be using. I am doing a monochrome series to test the paints, because as much as I enjoy many colours, I do have a significant bias, and I don't want to use a tool and disregard it because of the colours that I'm using rather than the effect, which might sound silly, but it's very easy for your mind to go, no, I don't like that, and not process that it's not the effect you don't like, it's the colours you're using. And it is quite easy to misinterpret that. So what I've decided to do is to do a monochrome series. I know that one of my followers on YouTube, Ravenhill, is particularly fond of monochromes and did put in a request that I do some more. And it just so happens, brand new set of tools, worth testing. I do have some homemade tools, things like the open cups and serrated ones that I've put together myself, but I would much rather use the tool designed for the job, if you like. What I will do is I'm going to quickly show you these colours, so you can see what you can expect, which is hopefully a nice thing. This one is a nice flat white. That white is made up predominantly with Amsterdam titanium white. It does have some satin enamel in it, and it also has some Baker Ross acrylic white in it. The reason for that is simply that, as I said, I am still working on a budget, so occasionally I will, especially if I've got leftover paint that I want to use and I don't want to waste. This one is a beautiful neutral pale grey. I probably won't be using them in this order. Oh, I just realised I probably didn't show you that on the camera. Is that better? Hopefully you can see that nicely. So both of those are non-iridescent. I think that may have a little bit of Decawhite pearl in it, but it's not a significant amount. This one is a beautiful mid-grey with a lot of silver in it. That's got lots of iridescence. It's very shiny and very pretty. And after that we have slightly darker charcoal end of grey. And this one isn't red, ignore the pot colour. It's a darker, richer charcoal grey, which does have a little bit of iridescence to it. And this one is a iridescent black, which has a gorgeous shimmer to it. Hopefully you can see that. Right, so we have the tools, we have the paint, and we have the pouring medium. So let's make smart, and I will be putting those videos up in the next week or two.